I am back with mono blue control again, except I put black in it, so now it's really Dimir. I'm only running one extinction event and one hull breaker. If this hull breaker comes out, it will definitely just become another extinction event. I'm running one copy of this counterspell because I think it's kind of neat to potentially put a counter on Jace. I don't know how often that is, but maybe it'll happen often enough where I'm like, man, I have a Urtai Scorn. I can never say that. And I really wish it was a Reject Imperfection because I have a Jace in play, but who knows? The 2 mana on this sometimes, when that happens, feels better than a lot of the other 3 mana counter spells. It doesn't feel that great to counter the second spell, especially when your opponent taps out. And you're like, oh, well, we're playing a curved out game. My opponent just played the 2-drop. They had 2 mana. I'm not expecting a second spell, you know? But sometimes this is decent. It also feels kind of weird to not cast this on the first spell, assuming you might get something on the second one, but it's just a small thing. It's not that massive, but it's probably slightly better than Sinister Sabotage. Probably. I don't know. The Surveil isn't useless. I'm not running Cling to Dust. If I was, then I think Sinister Sabotage would probably be better, because surveilling for your escape cards makes sense, right? What else? What else? No, that's about it. Got the removal, have the end. Obviously, Jace. For card draw, card advantage, I have 2 Beholds and 1 Illumination. I really like Illumination, but who knows? Sometimes you wish it was just a Censor. They kind of cycle at the same mana. Sometimes you wish it was like a 2-mana draw 2 discard one. There's other things it could be. These auguries actually should be impulses. That's my bad. I was swapping over the deck. I didn't change that, so I'll change that. But yeah, I still have the 4 Myrics. I really like this strategy. It gives you tokens that may trigger Revolt. It gives you another way to win. If your opponent just doesn't have anything going on, you can just infect them out really fast, and I guess proliferate with my 1 proliferate spell. 1 Hive. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. I don't know. It might even be better to have 2 hives and 1 hull, because this is a lot more expensive to activate, but we're certainly more blue than black, so got to be a little careful with the mana colors, especially if I'm running 4 Myrics alongside of 2 Field of Ruin. The sideboard is Cling to Dust. I'm using Duress with no Thoughtseize in the main, just for now. If I feel like I want Thoughtseize all the time, then maybe this slot right here could be Thoughtseize. But, we're just going to do that. 2 Pithing Needles. Change the equation. Test of Talents exiles your opponent's first discard spell, or their third, yay. Or is pretty good against the blue-white matchup. Noxious Grasp, good against blue-white, and the red-white heroic deck, I always forget. And then more of the ends, because I love this card. So yeah, we'll see how we do. Like, comment, subscribe. Here we go. It's absolutely insane. Like, my opponent had 4 cards. My opponent had 4 cards, and I'm, like, sweating to, like, keep in the game with a Jace in play. And it just doesn't matter, because Fable the Mirror Breaker is, like, just better than Jace. Which is just absolutely atrocious for us. Absolutely atrocious. It's just a nightmare scenario. I mean, that's just the format, though, right? That's just how this format plays out. Like, a lot. There it is again. There it is. There it is yet again. This is an absolutely horrendously bad card to see every time I see it, and I, like, basically have to answer it. I just had a double tap land, unfortunately. Surely they don't have a second one. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, I've already made my piece here. Just start talking in loops for no reason. Yep, pass. I mean, if I counter the reasonable, like, combo pieces here, it's not that bad, but it's still absolutely horrible. Like, atrociously bad. I don't think it's reasonable to Murderous Rider right now. Actually, I probably can never go for anything because my opponent has creativity. Although creativity hitting Gearhulk doesn't actually do anything currently. Let's use the more expensive one. We've not seen a Magma Opus. Can I just play Jace? Will anyone yell at me if I just play Jace? Can I just please play Jace? And not get hit by, like, Spell Pierce? I don't know. Please don't have a Spell Pierce. Let me just play my Planeswalker, please. Just make me happy for once. Opponent, I really need this to resolve. Just make my day. You also have it? Oh, no, that's not Magma. Wait, what the heck is this? One of your hand... What? Okay. I have not seen that one before. Like, ever. I mean, it just deals 5 damage to me. And they draw a card? So what is it? Look at the top 5, put one in your hand. Okay. I mean, it's still kind of bad, but, like, sure. I feel like this could have been categorically worse. Yeah, I feel like that could have been just far worse for me. Alright, well, I cannot do anything about Make Disappear again. So let's do this. Actually, do I just... I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to play this. We're going to play Extinction Event, and then I'll Heartless Act if it doesn't work. So I do even, right? Yeah. And then I just leave up a Heartless Act here. Yeah, that wasn't really a scary creativity, like, at all. Could have been way worse, right? Could have been way, way worse. Like, if it was the other combo, it would have just died. World Spine Worm Xenagos. Which actually has never killed me yet. It's kind of funny. Alright, they get another spooky, sort of scary spell. I am sort of low on life, so... Alright, well... unfortunately, this is not the second spell they cast, right? Because the thing here, but... I will counter this 5 damage, I think. They do not have another spell to yes, they do. They can copy Gearhulk here. Okay, fine. Yeah, they can just copy Gearhulk, so... Again, literally Fable of the Mirror Breaker being the most disgusting card. It's just completely atrocious for us, but alright. Well, we got something going here, I guess. This is the 3rd or 4th Gearhulk. What is that? That is the 3rd Gearhulk. Sometimes they don't run all 4. Found some Graveyard Hate too. Although it's kind of hard to use it, but it is there. Stern Lesson. Alright, I'm in no position to counter Stern Lesson. Don't think that's realistic. Opponent got rid of a Hall? What? Why don't you just keep the Hall and get rid of this land instead? Well, if they showed me Hall and got rid of it, I'm not going to Field of Ruin for no reason. There is currently no spell in their graveyard for me to want to Hive, but maybe it's just the only thing to do right now. If I don't, I can help myself play against a Make Disappear. Okay, I'm going to swing. I'm just going to go for it. At the very least, I can get rid of a Stern Lesson. Maybe that, just like a value cantrip that the last Gearhulk could potentially hit. Something like that. And I'm going to swing with the Murderous Rider, because gaining 2, losing 2 is what it is. I could take the Make Disappear. I think that might be more reasonable. They would go for that instead if they had a Gearhulk, right, in response to some sort of counterfight, so... Instead of the other one. And again, just trading 2 damage is fine. Mine's got lifelink. Prismari Command. Again, don't feel like I'm in a position to counter that. Doesn't seem reasonable. I am dead to another one, though. I am dead to another one. Opponent's looking at my mana. They're wondering if it's going to work, and it is not. Alright. So let's do the thing. My opponent could absolutely right now have a Hall of Storm Giants in play, but they just discarded it for no reason and kept a different land. And I don't believe they even used the mana on said land, so pretty good for us here. And this counters basically all the scary red spells, right? Actually, does it counter Magma Opus? Isn't that an 8-drop? It is an 8-drop. This doesn't work, does it? No, it doesn't. It does not actually work there. Okay. Yeah. My opponent appears to have some kind of spell. Oh. Sure. Okay, yep. Just obviously doing this still. And again, Fatal Push does not kill this because it's a 3. I guess I could have killed it because my man land left the battlefield. Huh. Alright. Just take my beats. I am going to do this now. I don't have a counterspell against a Magma Opus anyways, off the top or whatever. I don't think my opponent would respect anything regardless. But I would like to at least attempt to kill this, right? Good. Alright, I drew this. I'm not going to swing with... Maybe I should still. No. Sure. Doesn't seem reasonable to ever fight over that one. I do have... I still currently have a 2-turn clock in play with the mainland. Kind of low. I could just cast it as an actual dude, bro. No, let's get rid of him. Let's just get rid of him. Alright. Again, I don't find it too reasonable to, do anything but this here. I misclicked. I genuinely meant to take the Prismari command. Whoops. They could Gear Hulk it and kill me with it. It's funny. Alright, well. Oh, opponent, you didn't even make me show you the counter spell. I could have just moused over my hand. Okay, so Duress feels good, so does Cling, so does Test of Talents, and Kind of Change. And the end hits like Gear Hulks and stuff. It's not bad. It's probably better than the alternatives. Wow, that's hilarious. A huge chunk of my sideboard would love to come in. That's really funny. Okay, maybe you can take out some of these extinction events. Some of these top end things here. Some of these 3-mana counter spells. I just added a bunch of cheaper ones. Take out, dare I say 2 lands? No, that's stupid. Take out Illumination and Multiverse? Sure. I might actually drop some of these Indulgences and just put the Jace back in. Just to make sure I don't, like, run out of win conditions. That would be kind of unfortunate. And the Indulgences aren't that amazing, right? So, if pound for pound every spell in my deck is really strong here, I don't feel like I need to draw a bunch of cards every game and stuff, right? Like, my whole hand feels pretty solid. I do expect a bunch of... not Thoughtseize. I've been conditioned. Spell Pierces. If there ever a card was going to come out of my opponent's sideboard, it was probably that one. But they could sort of turn into some kind of weird control deck, right? Alright, here comes the cycle, hopefully. It is. It's nothing too spooky scary. Instant Fable. I wonder what that means. No Spell Pierce. Alright. Huge. Dummy huge. Okay, well, these Cling to Dust are going to wreak absolute havoc here. Maybe I should hold on to the second one until I need lands desperately. I will play this untapped. I think that is reasonable. Whoa. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could Gear Hulk, but it wouldn't do anything. I literally am not. I'm not impressed. Show me what you got. I'm just not convinced. Okay, apparently it was nothing. Apparently it was just posturing. Or just holding up counter spells and stuff, which is also pretty reasonable. I think as long as I can afford to, I will play untapped lands. Yep, sure. I almost want to play this, but I can't use the Power Stone. Unfortunate. Oh, still has a Fiery Impulse. Okay, alright, still got that going. They didn't make tokens. They did not make tokens there. Again, I kind of want to hold this Cling, but I think it's fine to just shoot it out right now. I think that's fine. Again, opponent hasn't really shown me anything. Let's just make a Mirrex token. I'm going to okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to play another Mirrex. I'm going to swing. The 1/1s off of this Soccer Gerberder would have been actually kind of solid. Okay, that doesn't really flash anything, but do I counter it anyways? I feel like it won't resolve if I try to counter it. Can I kill this in like some other fashion? No? Alright. I mean, yeah, it looks like they have a counterspell to fight, but this Gear Hulk doesn't have any targets, so this isn't too big of a deal. It's just a 5/6, right? Which is kind of a big deal, but it could be worse. Yeah, there's just nothing to get here because I exiled the lesson. The old honest Gear Hulk. Love to see it. Alright, surely there's no Magma Opus into perfect nonsense here. Alright, good. Good, good. Still problematic, though. Still very problematic, as I currently have no answer. I mean, this hull can technically block. It is on the cards. In the cards, rather. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, shock myself. Swing. I am basically dead to a second giant here, Gear Hulk, rather. They could have some form of removal for hull anyways, and it just feels bad, but I don't know if I can afford to respect that. It just doesn't seem reasonable. What do you have, a Tail's End? There's no way there's a Tail's End here, right? What is this? Oh, Magma Opus. Okay. Oh, Sublime a Pit. Wait. Wait, what? Okay, so they're copying Gear Hulk. I guess I have to try to not let that be a reality. Okay, my opponent has another Gear Hulk in hand. Of course they do. Go to 3, but now they have a Epiphany that I can't do anything about with the second Gear Hulk, right? Actually, that's not necessarily true. Alright. So I can block and then counter the other Gear Hulk here, so we actually have our bases somewhat covered. I don't know why they keep doing it in response. It's weird. Why can I not cast this? Thank you. They do get a Fable, but, I mean, I dealt with this, which is obviously massive. But we're not out of this. Okay. I highly doubt this is going to be useful, but, I mean, at this point, I might as well just play this land anyways. Um. Okay. I got nothing. Except a potential wall of counter magic or something. Oh no, they didn't loot. Oh no, they didn't loot. And they didn't swing? What? What's happening? What is actually happening? Okay, do I want cards or do I need life? I mean, I sort of need life, but I'm dead to a top deck Magma Opus anyways. Like, I'm just dead to it regardless. So, doesn't really matter. Nope, looks like they do not have it. And again, if they had it, I think we would have seen it. Just gonna make it 1/1. Never mind, I guess my opponent just had it. Well, the only top deck that immediately kills me. Great. Cool. Well, that was horrible. Maybe drop some changed equations, because now I'm realizing they don't actually hit anything except Fable in Prismari command. But Fable is just like a god tier card here. Like that. Actually, maybe we just take all of them out. Just do more actual counter magic like that. I still don't think I want the... Yeah, alright. I had, like, a lot of good cards there. I just really did. And yeah, that was obviously the most obscene top deck my opponent could have had. Probably not keeping that one. Not gonna lie. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Event here. Let's play you. Let's actually play this first. My opponent gives me something to clean immediately. Nope. Okay. This hand is atrocious, but I can't really punish it. Let's play this tapped. I think I'm just gonna do that. I don't think it matters which one you cycle, right? Okay, well I was never going to counter that one anyways. Fatal Push looking real sus right now. Looking real suspect. Of course, yep. Best card in the entire game, just throwing it in my face again. So if am I just dead if I go for Jace? They get to Magma Opus me if I go for Jace? Like, literally? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they just get to Magma Opus me. Does that kill Jace? I guess it technically doesn't. Whatever. Whatever. Just throwing it out there. I don't find it remotely reasonable to just hide behind a test of talents. Okay, I'll take that. At least it kills the Gearhulk. If they sorcery speed it, we have like freedom to actually cast our spells, which is pretty nice. They cannot cast this, right? No. I mean, there's no universe in which you don't just cast this, right? Like, I don't know how you don't cast Gearhulk right now. Oh. Okay, sure. I guess they're doing this just to have 2 instead of 1. But it doesn't kill my Jace, right? Yeah, Fire Prophecy is not the better one. That goes towards Planeswalkers. So, I guess we're kind of alright, sort of, in a way, maybe. I can bounce one of these. Feels really stupid, but... What are we doing? I can bounce the token? I feel like that doesn't add up. Alright, well that's slightly more reasonable. And then I Murderous Rider one of these. And then I leave up Test of Talents because that's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing I can do. Imagine this had haste. Actually imagine. Imagine for a second that had haste. That is better than anything I can think of right now, so let's do that here. I don't think I can play it, though, right? That doesn't feel like it makes a whole lot of sense. So they play out another Gear Hulk. Well, they might. I mean, probably. I can counter the spell it gets, but that doesn't do too much. They might not even have to. Like, just... Prismari Command. Do I counter this? If I want my Jace to live, I guess I do. And I kind of want to just finally cast this card, so... I think that's fine. I don't know if this is winning for me, but... Opponent has another Magma Opus in hand. My opponent's literally drawn like 12 or like 10 of the 12 between the 3 games. They have a 1 of Negate. They do have Fiery Impulse. Oh, I didn't exile the one out of the grave. Whoops. I did not exile the one out of the graveyard. I'm stupid. Okay, so they get another Magma Opus I have no answer to. And I guess we're screwed now and the game is over? Great. Opponent also gets to now copy it because, yet again, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is an obscenely, destructively stupid broken card, and I can't seem to keep up with the value. It just endlessly regurgitates. If they have another mana source, they can actually copy this Outburst. Looks like they don't. Okay, I drew a land because of course I did, and now I'm wasting my time. All right. Yep. It literally for the 5th time today, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is causing so much value to happen. I can't play the game. It just, if it resolves, I might as well just not play because the value from this alone is just obscene, right? I can deal with the Gear Hulks and stuff slowly. In fact, I had a pretty good deck, just like cards and sideboard. A lot of stuff felt great. The Cling to Dusts, like the removal spell, like everything just felt great. It's just Fable discarding dead cards, giving them what is essentially a divination, while also being a token generator, so they can creativity right away. If they didn't have like a Prismari command or something to cycle and stuff. And it just, if you don't answer it, if it sits here as a 2/2, then it threatens to copy the Gear Hulks if you didn't answer those either, right? And it's just compoundingly problematic. I just can't beat Fable. Fable alone is making it so this deck is horrible. Like, every opponent I've played against has this so far. Well, no, I played against some green-white, but, you know, point still stands. Fable is just completely pushing me out of the, like, the play sphere. I can keep in the change equations, but that's the only realistic target for them, and it just feels horrible, right? To run a card just for one card your opponent's playing. It feels abysmal. I think this is one of the worst decks I've played so far. Just like full stop, I actually do. I think this might be one of the worst decks I have streamed ever. Just full stop. Okay, well that's not great. Well, if they don't have a cat, we're not too upset. This isn't the worst place to be, I guess. Alright, well. Are we past this sensor? Probably. I'd say we're past it, yeah. What land? What land? Do we need the Myrics in play? No. So one of these two. This one always comes in tapped. Fine. Do I get to foretell? I guess? Sure. I don't think I need to Tainted Indulgence. I do have Double Extinction, which makes me feel pretty comfortable. I wouldn't want to see a Mayhem Devil, though. Oh, you've... I don't know. I don't know. Alright. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just gonna happen, I guess. Just gonna happen. It's just Fable, 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 Fable. It's just Fable the Mirror Breaker, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Fable the Mirror Breaker. I don't know. I mean, I could have had my sensor, I guess, right? Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Yep, here comes the familiar now. It's Fable. It's literally Fable. It's just how the games plays out. It's just Fable, 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 Fable. Okay, so I can Shock and Murderous Rider, which I basically have to, unless I want to die to all of the 40,000 triggers this Mayhem Devil will throw at me. I'm just gonna shift enter past all this. This is completely ridiculous. Wait, you could have just eaten the Cauldron Familiar. Doesn't that make more sense? Oh, I lose access to the Murderous Rider. Okay, that's fair. I just don't have a 2-3, right? Yep, of course. Can't possibly be a second Cauldron Familiar. It just has to be the Witch's Oven. Why wouldn't it? Sure wish I had my main deck Pithing Needle right now. Okay, Crocs is not too scary when I have Extinction. Kind of like both of these, but maybe I don't need both. Kind of need, like, actual action here. Opponent's been missing lands, but I still think I'm going to get rid of this Censor. I could get rid of Castle, though. No, I don't know if Censor is that reasonable. My opponent didn't eat the... Oh, that makes sense. You know, why didn't they eat the Croxa with the food? There's no reason to. Okay. Okay. 3 cards. I can't exile the Cauldron Familiar. I guess I just pass? Yeah, I got nothing else to do, so... At least my opponent's playing fast. Love to see it. Most people take like 20 minutes with their Witch's Oven Cauldron loop thing. This person seems to be on their P's and Q's. Their P's and Q's. Surely they just swing with the reflection. Okay. Not too upset about that. Still missing land? Nope. No dice. What is on 4 here? They can't Croxa. That's interesting. Why'd they shock? I really don't know what they could possibly have on 4. If it wasn't a Shieldred, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Why didn't they just do that sorcery speed? Could have found like more cards to like play immediately. It's unusual. I'm dead in 2 turns. I can't actually stop that. Right? Yeah, I can't stop Cauldron Familiar from coming back. Yeah, I think I'm just dead to Cauldron Familiar, so we can probably scoop. I'm like literally... Oh, well, I am literally dead. actually. Yeah, because they just do it now, and then they untap and do it again, and I'm actually just dead. Okay. So the end is pretty solid at dealing with some of this here. Cling to Dust, obviously. I don't think I want it. Change the equation. Again, it's the Fable the Mirror Breaker that makes me want to keep this, because that card is basically an auto win when it resolves against what I've got going on. Literally. It literally might genuinely be an auto win if it resolves. It is way too much value, right? So I still might have to take him out. I still think I do, right? Because I want everything else. Yeah, I want these 3-minute counterspells. I think. I mean, there is Mayhem Devil, so Change the Equation actually has, like, more play. Yeah, alright. We can just... Let's just do all of that and take out some of the 3s then. I think that's fine. Like this? Okay. I mean, sure. It's not, like, amazing, but... It's not great. Yeah, I don't want duress here. We don't want duress. Does not seem like it makes a lot of sense. Okay. Okay, well, they didn't lead with the oven, which I think they would have had they had it, right? I don't think we cycle, actually. I think this is a stay bored and boring here and don't do anything until my opponent does. I won't counter a stomp. I won't counter this either. That does not feel reasonable. Because, again, Fable just hitting me is... I mean, actually, yeah, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. Alright, looks like no discard, though. Okay, there is discard. I don't know why they had to think about it. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's Shieldred, and they just didn't want to run Shieldred into a counterspell. Or they thought about between Shieldred and something else. I don't know. Oh, you gotta pick one. Yeah, I'm gonna counter that. Because it's a card. Oh, actually, wait a minute. No. I can just counter that this way. Yeah, that's fine. Wait. What? Oh. Are they gonna push their own creature? That would be weird. Choose not to. Okay, so play you. And no reason to play Murderous Rider, I don't think. Don't think. Okay, I think they just top deck this. I haven't been paying attention. Have they missed a land drop? They might not have. Might just be tripping. I feel like my opponent's just screaming. You know what? I'm going to counter this. I'm going to counter this. Opponent's throwing that in the face of my counter spells, so... If I don't counter it, it feels bad. Alright, Censor's obviously not great, especially when I basically have a second one already, and again, my opponent, like, knows about them, so it's not really that great. Can we play Murderous Rider? Sure. Why not? Surely there's no answer to it, although it isn't actually all that scary, it's just baby value. Baby, it's my version of Fable the Mirror Breaker. Literally, it's like literally my... Oh, there is a Fatal Push, and they are willing to cast it off of a treasure. I feel like that helps me more than it hurts, but okay. I'm not really upset with that one at all, honestly. I hate this card. I literally hate this card with every fiber of my being. Okay, well, they don't have a food. I can't let them get a food, so I'll kill that. I might as well cycle. I said I'll cycle you, Censor. I didn't want you, buddy. Calm down. Get out of here. Okay. Sure. Well, I mean, if they ever find a creature, they just get going with it, right? Just, get going there. Looks like they're... Well, it's weird for them to dig right now if they already... They did not get rid of both cards with their... Claim the Firstborn? What? Okay. Claim the Firstborn. It makes me want to not make a token. Because then they, like, steal it, sack it to, like, Witch's Cauldron, and then back off to the, Cauldron Familiar. I do not have Pithing Needles, right? I don't believe I brought the Pithing Needles in, so... This, Witch's Oven is just, like, a problem. Problem that this, card specifically doesn't answer. Surely they just get poisoned out here, right? Surely they just died of poison. I also didn't even notice they had Gigantha. Did not register that in my mind. So they basically always had a creature there, right? I just can't really stop it. Okay, well, if as long as it's the cat completely alone, I can play Magic the Gathering, kinda? I don't know... I don't know what I'm... Both of these are odd? Okay, we're gonna make one. I can Extinction Event for odd, but again, that doesn't stop the cat, like, at all, but... It's better than, like, dying, I guess. What do they... Yeah, okay. Opponent wisely, doesn't waste their time making a copy of something for no reason. Let's do odd. Yep. And I will probably play this. My opponent doesn't exactly have 7 drops in their deck. And I guess I leave up Murderous Rider for some kind of nonsense. Mayhem Devil or whatever. Or literally anything, ever. Okay, that's not... Actually, that's not... I don't want that. Anything but that ever. And they have an Ob Nixilis to go with it? Are you kidding me? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, that's so bad. The card advantage is just unreal. Okay, so what's the real one here? I struggle to tell. Alright, it doesn't actually matter. We just kill the one they haven't activated yet. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. Let's kill the one that has not been activated. It's fine. Actually, is it dead? Can we just kill this Ob Nixilis here? No, they have 2 blockers now. Okay. No dice. You sack the food here? Is that what you do? I feel like you sack the devil, actually. I think I would sack this devil here and ping one of these. Opponent does not do that, though. There's a manland I have not really much of an answer to. Yeah, they can keep Ob Nixilis around by not swinging. Actually, I lose my whole board if I... Okay, yeah, let's do this then. Start here. That is not what I wanted. That is really not what we could afford to have happen right now. That was really bad, actually. Oh no, don't have an actual spell. No, you've already had so much. Please. Literally, just block and move on. No spell. Literally banned. What does my opponent have? Hold on. What could this possibly be? Whoa. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what that could possibly mean. I think Murderous Rider is better than a Mirrex token, and I am not really in a position to leave up anything. Especially my opponent just probably wouldn't respect it anyway, so... Wonder what that spell is. They did not block the Like, they could have saved the Obnixilis. It could be another Obnixilis, I guess, right? Oh, I guess it's a good thing I did what I did. They duressed of one... Wait, what? This has to be another Obnixilis. It is. Okay. Well, I mean, this land isn't doing anything, right? Is it? Hold on, is it? No, not necessarily. I can, haul here. Haul the Storm Giants. And I guess I do... Right? Yeah. I don't even know how to distribute all of this nonsense. So they have 2 blockers. I can go here and here like that. Block, take 2, block, block, take... Yeah, this makes the most sense to me. They cannot fire up the den, right? Oh, they can. I thought that was a food token. I legit thought that was a food token. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was a food token, not a treasure token. That's my bad. I don't think it would have changed the attacks, though. I think it... Like, these can't block anyways, so... It doesn't really matter. But they do technically have a way to keep everything going, right? Block, block. Yeah, let's see what they do. Sure, yep, okay, fine. Very well. This is a method that allows them to make a devil token, so they can proceed to do this again. Oh, come on, no, not like that. Oh, that was like the worst draw to see, too. Does that kill me? Hold on. Loses 2 life. I lose 2, I lose 2, I lose 3. I lose 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just dead. Literally, Croxa was a top deck kill me. That was the best possible draw for them. Wow. Unbelievable. Croxa was above and beyond the best thing they could have drawn. It literally just killed me. It also made it... Actually, no, it was the best possible draw because it was the only thing that could make a food token while also doing 6 damage to me. Right? In a world where they did not have to minus one of these to make a devil, so they could sack for food to, like, make this. So this was the best possible draw. It was the only draw that kills me. Now, I don't think I'm in a good spot regardless, but imagine they just drew a land here. It would have been... You know, we would have had a game to play, but my opponent just found 10 damage in, like, a turn cycle, so... Fable the Mirror Breaker. So this was... far and away the worst deck I've ever played so far. Just literally in Explorer. It is the worst deck I have played. It's worse than Mono Blue. It's obviously categorically worse than Blue White. But it's just like Fable of the Mirror Breaker was so insane every time it resolved. It basically soloed me. Like the treasure making 2/2 is annoying to deal with. The loot effect gives my opponent card advantage, especially if they utilize their graveyard. It's even more card advantage, and a lot of those decks do, like a lot of them. And the other side of Fable, if it ever just sits there, is a serious issue as well. So every part of Fable the Mirror Breaker is atrocious to play against, and I think all of my opponents except 2 or 3 of them had Fables in their deck. Which you know, I kind of got unlucky a little bit. I didn't play against Mono Green, actually. I just never saw the matchup. Would have been nice to see it maybe once or twice, but yeah, the army of Fable the Mirror Breakers is just absolutely insane. When I'm trying to 1-for-1 with value, right? Like, oh, Murderous Rider, 1-for-1 counterspell, 1-for-1, you know, remove your cheap threat, your Bandit Dork, or whatever. It's all good and dandy until suddenly your opponent has a 2-for-1 in the form of like Fable the Mirror Breaker or some other kind of efficient removal, a creature that leaves behind something or has a very powerful enter the battlefield effect. That it like all this slightly snowbally additive value stuff just pushes you completely out of the game. Um, like let's say I had a Jace on 5 every game, I'd have to like actually cast it or something, because you know it's hard to tap out on 5 and not have your opponent punish you dearly for doing that. You know, like you just play this on turn 5 and it doesn't untap 2 lands like Teferi, so you can't even have anything to defend it. You just windmill slam Jace, and I guess the same but with Ashiok, and you just hope it's good enough. Ashiok actually doesn't even have a card advantage. There's no card advantage on the text of Ashiok other than like exiling a card out of their hand, but that doesn't, you know, they get to choose, right? You bounce something, it's just not great. Honestly, this genuinely could just be another Jace, actually. I think Jace is just better than Ashiok. I don't think you should play this at all. Just thought I'd try it. Also, the land base was not good. And no, I don't think it mattered really that much, but I should not put these Mirexes in here. No game was about this ever, so this should just be like, at the very least, 2 more basics or something. The tapped lands were more punishing than the value they could have ever have given me. Both the manlands in particular, even this castle, the value from them is not really worth them coming in tapped. It's just not. So that's unfortunate. Also, Drowned Catacomb came in tapped a little too much. I should have assessed that a little bit better, but that's just me. That wasn't a big deal, but it would have helped a little bit. Yeah, we're running the good black removal and whatnot. It just the value, literally the value. Like you can't even reliably extinction event a Fable of Mirror Breaker. It just doesn't really work. It would have been nice to play against more things that weren't Fable of the Mirror Breaker, as that card quite literally sold me. I think I lost, or was soon to lose, every time they played someone played a Fable. I just like, oh, I'm gonna lose within the next 3 or 4 turns because that happened and I didn't counter it. Which is really, really, really punishing. It's kind of funny. Could put more change the equations in the deck to stop that. It just feels like it's rough to do that when I'm trying to get card advantage here. And I'm also trying to get some hard counters with these 3-mana ones, but absolutely schmeed it. I should, like, oh, well, they're in the sideboard, actually, yeah. Like, this would be more reasonable. Like, just, yeah, Fable the Mirror Breaker is just completely atrocious. It just completely annihilated me every time. And that's not to say stuff like Bone Crusher Giant or even Croxa were a serious issue too. Like, again, Croxa, if you counter it, you got to deal with it later. So it sort of already 2-for-1s you unless you Cling to Dust it or exile it with the end or something. Which actually it's still 2-for-1s you because you have to discard. But yeah, the value from Black-Red was just too much. And Green-White was another one we played against. And, I mean, they kind of had Collected Company every time they needed it, but let's say they didn't. The fact that half their deck is at instant speed, it's hard to deal with that, right? On a 1-for-1 basis. Like, oh, I'll counter your instant speed end-step threat on my turn, then you untap and you present another threat, but I'm tapped out because I had to tap on my turn because your instant speed threat that I probably needed to answer. So you're falling more and more behind, excuse me. We don't have the white removal. We don't have, what's it called? Farewell, to just hard exile the graveyard, hard exile Fable, hard exile the creatures. Like, Farewell is just categorically better than Extinction Event, even at 2 more mana. And it's probably in a better color, given the situation. So yeah, just every way we look, it's just bad. Maybe you could drop these and just run Shark Typhoons. They cycle, you know, and if you just windmill slam one, it's a lot. It feels better to have a Shark Typhoon than a Jason play. So maybe that was just where we want it to be. Again, I don't think that would have changed anything. It wouldn't have stopped the Fables that come in at half the mana of a Shark Typhoon anyways. It would end up just making 1/1 Sharks a whole bunch, right? So yeah, I don't know. I would not recommend this at all. This was an issue that I had when I climbed to Mythic was during Standard, back when Teferi was in Standard, and there actually wasn't Explorer or Historic. This was years ago. The first, right when the game came out, and I streamed super competitively up to the Mythic. I had the same issue with these. 3-mana counterspells are just not good. 3-mana counterspells have not been good in Magic the Gathering for years. Now, this could be different in Standard because it's ever-changing. It's never the same thing. Right, like Absorb was Standard when I was playing Standard next to Teferi and stuff. Teferi makes it a hell of a lot easier to untap and play 3-mana counterspells, right? Because he untaps your lands. So there's a little bit of something there, but if we don't have Teferi, it's even worse. It's just, when you're trying to deal with 2-drops that have an army of value on them, or just a litany of value engines and all this stuff, and it's like you just can't get to these. You can barely foretell, and then that's a 4-mana investment here. If you foretell and cast later, it's actually more of an investment than just not foretelling it. But yeah, it didn't really matter what kind of 3-mana counterspell it was, right? It's just Hope Scorn could be a 2-mana counterspell, but even still, that means something else was cast that you probably didn't answer. It's just so rough. Like these are just so rough. 3-mana counterspells are, in my opinion, not realistic. And we can kind of see why Blue-White Proctor or Strict Proctor, Lotus Field control decks don't really run any counterspells, right? It's kind of just Censor and Disruption. They don't really run a bunch of counterspells, but you would still kind of consider it a control deck. It's because you can't. You just can't do this. It just doesn't... Oop, I don't know where I sent it. Oh, there it is. I mean, I'll send it out of the deck. It's useless, but you just can't use these. They don't work. You don't have the time to cast these. Even if you're on the play, and let's say they don't have a Llanowar Elves or a 1-drop threat from the Heroic deck or Cat Oven. You've got nothing. You just have no recourse. So I would just ill-advise any kind of strategy that involves 3-mana counterspells. Unless you can hose the 1 and 2 turn plays like crazy. Like take these out, up more of this, maybe even one of these, go up that, another 1 or 2 mana removal and or counterspell. And just completely clear the board of 1 and 2 drops. And then maybe you find yourself in a position where you can leave up 3-mana counterspells and not feel terrible. And this is all just saying your opponent doesn't have like a man land that you must deal with lest it beat you to death, right? Like that could just get through your counterspells, and man lands are obviously uncounterable. That's why I really advise Pithing Needle if you're trying to run heavy counterspell control decks. You just need to stop some of these things, and it has incidental value, right? Like you can Pithing Needle the half of the deck out of Grease Fang. You could just Pithing Needle the equipment or the crew and the vehicles and feel fine, but it really is the 3-mana slots that just devastate you with the counterspells there. But yeah, I would say this is one of the worst decks I've played, if not the worst deck I've played in the format so far. Well, the only way to know that is to play it, and we did, and now we know. If you have advice for anything similar to this, let me know, but I can't imagine it can be too different. I scoured the available cards here for something that I thought may be a little bit more useful, and nothing really came to mind other than pushing into like a Spectral Sailor Terramander deck, right? Where it's like, oh, the Terramanders are your equivalent of your Delver of Secrets. We can play some kind of blue-black Delver of Secrets deck where like I can beat them up with this, but then all my opponent's removal that we never really get to see because we don't have any creatures is suddenly all enabled because I have a bunch of creatures in my deck now. So it's like another thing I have to protect and sort of worry about. I mean, I'm attacking my opponent at a different angle, but it brings another angle of answers from the opponent. So it's like a catch, rock and a hard place. But enough of this 10-minute tangent. I know I go on a long tangent at the end of my spiels, but I feel like it's worth it. If I have something to talk about, I feel like I should, right? Just explain why I think something is or is not good. typically not good, as you don't see a lot of the decks looming around that I may be playing. But, I know, it's fun. I just like this. I like it. I like control. I'm going to play any kind of control deck I get my grubby little hands on, so. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Ripskis. Actual Ripskis. I didn't win a game. I did not win a game, did I?